Let's talk about something that potentially a lot of people at Goldman Sachs are excited about right now, and it's the share price, record high. I'm looking at potentially, though, the ways in which is driving this stock price. Many feeling regulation changes to come, the new administration. What is your wish list in terms of regulatory environment changes for Goldman Sachs?
Well, look, we operate in the environment that we have to operate in, and we try to be very adaptable, and we try to risk manage for almost any scenario. When there was massive regulatory change after the financial crisis, a lot of that regulation came with a purpose of creating safety and soundness in the system. And that's a really positive thing. But because it happened very quickly, there are a number of rules or a number of things that have happened that have an impact on certain parts of the functioning of the banking system or markets or the economy that with the hindsight now, 8 or 9 years later, you'd look at and say, well, that's not optimal. Are there things we can do that improve lending, especially to small businesses and mid-sized businesses where there's growth? Are there things that we can do that improve market liquidity? And so, we're in a position where we think it's a great opportunity to revisit some of these things to optimize the overall solution for everyone without in any way affecting safety and soundness of the system.
So you don't think it could breed too much risk-taking once again?
I think that a responsible and thoughtful discussion around trying to optimize markets, access to liquidity, lending, especially for small and mid-sized businesses where there's a lot of growth, taking a look at rules where maybe in hindsight, you may want to operate differently. And so, sure, we're focused on those things, but certainly not at the expense of safety and soundness in the system.
Let's talk about the Goldman guys and the Goldman girls that are now in a closer proximity to the administration. We've seen, Mnuchin just being named, of course. We've got Cohen, who you have now helped take the role of as Co-COO here, Powell, so that there are a number of Goldman executives now surrounding the administration. Is this a positive thing long-term for Goldman Sachs? Because there are some concerns being raised.
Well, we've always had a culture of public service inside Goldman Sachs, and I think that's something that we're very proud of. People have an opportunity to work at Goldman Sachs. If they're successful, they do well, and they want to give back, to society, to the community, and so there's always been a great culture of public service at Goldman Sachs. There's this view that when people leave Goldman Sachs and they go to Washington in some way, shape, or form, there's a lot of talk about, that connectivity, but I'll just tell you it's almost the opposite. These people have their own reputations, and they want to, in any way, shape they can, prove that they're doing the right thing for the country. They want to serve, and so to a degree, they're almost more careful the other way with respect to their connectivity. So look, do I think it's a good thing for Goldman Sachs? The culture of public service where people at Goldman Sachs want to give back, I think is a good thing. It's a good thing for our culture. I think it's a good thing for society, and I think it's great that there are competent people like Gary Cohn serving in Washington.